Yes, alkanes. Today we are going to see the alkanes, their methods of preparation and their reactions, right? So if I just give you a revision, general formula for alkane is what? CnH2n plus 2. What is the functional group? There is no as such functional group for alkanes. You can take it as carbon-carbon single bond, but there's no functional group for alkanes, right? What is the preparation? We have gone through the reactions. We have gone through, isomerism and naming. You know, if you talk about, just for the sake of revision, I'm telling you, yeah, isomerism are two types, na? Ek structural and the other one is stereo. So there are two types of isomerism, and structural isomerism, yes, chain isomerism that exists in this position isomerism by the position of double bond, yes, alkanes mein hoga, but functional group isomerism, no, not in alkanes. Similarly, if you talk about cis trans, no, it can't be in alkanes because that need to have carbon-carbon double bond. Optical isomerism, yes. It can have क्योंकि chiral carbon हो सकता है in alkane. Although methane, ethane, propane, butane इनमें नहीं होता. Minimum 7 carbon चाहिए to become a chiral carbon in an alkane, right? कम से कम 7 carbon या उससे ज्यादा होने चाहिए. Then one of the carbon could be a chiral carbon. Otherwise 6 तक chiral नहीं होता तो 6 तक आप 6 carbon यानी hexane तक कोई optical isomerism भी नहीं show करेगा. But that was a quick review what we have done up till now. अब आ जाते हैं preparation के ऊपर, right? Number 1, by fractional distillation of crude oil. This is the one which we did in O level. FD mean fractional distillation of crude oil. Yes, the second method is the cracking. You remember, due to the difference in the boiling point, all the fractions, including alkanes, are actually, they are the compounds which are used as a fossil fuel. Petrol, diesel, kerosene oil, yeah, they all are the alkanes. So they are prepared by the fractional distillation of crude oil or petroleum. Due to the difference in their boiling points, they are separated. Okay? Due to difference in their boiling point. Separated. ये तो हो गया about the alkanes, right? Number 2, by cracking. So cracking is another process. We'll explain it in the reactions. So at this moment, I'm just letting it go. You just have to leave one line empty and go down. I'll come back and write this equation, okay? Cracking is the process which we'll discuss in a while in detail. Okay, these are the two methods for preparation of alkanes. Number 3, they're also prepared from alkenes. Again, fractional distillation of crude oil. ये जो मैं कह रहा हूँ, by cracking or from alkenes, you have to leave one line and go to the next, okay? Later on, when we'll do these reactions, I'll tell you to go back and fill in this space, okay? At this moment, you just leave it. Come to the reactions of haloalkanes now. Oh, sorry, reactions of alkanes. My apologies. Reactions of alkanes. Before I go for the reactions of alkanes, I should let you know that alkanes are not reactive organic compounds, right? So please write down alkanes are not reactive organic compounds. You have to give a reasons why aren't they reactive organic compounds? Precisely, no, from alkenes. I'll tell you what, that's not hydrolysis, that is hydrogenation. Okay? But I'll let you know later. At this moment, you just give a heading, leave one line, and then go to the next. Okay, why the alkanes are now? I need your attention, bacho. Why the alkanes are not reactive organic compounds? There are two reasons. Reason one, alkanes are alkanes have strong covalent bonds. Have strong covalent bonds. Okay. Number one, they have strong covalent bonds between carbon and hydrogen. For example, look at this. This is an alkane. They have strong covalent bonds between carbon-carbon and carbon-hydrogen. That makes them inert. That is the one reason. Not inert, less reactive. Number two, the second reason. जो दूसरी बड़ी reason होती है, that is polarity. And alkanes में carbon-carbon bonds and carbon-hydrogen bond. Both are non-polar bonds, so alkanes are non-polar, right? If a substance has a strong bond but still a polar, it can attract positive and negative ions towards itself. So that becomes reactive. But here they have strong covalent bonds. Number two, they are non-polar. They are non-polar or not having any dipoles. Permanent dipoles, hence not reactive. Hence not reactive organic compounds. Okay. So these are the two reasons. They ask you, बच्चों, straightforward question examiner, कि alkanes क्या हैं? Reactive हैं या नहीं reactive? आप कहते हैं नहीं reactive. They ask you give the two reasons. So what two reasons you're going to give? Number one, the strong covalent bonds between carbon-carbon and carbon-hydrogen. And number two, there is a no bond polarities. They are non-polar molecules, right? अगर वो polar हो तो भी reactivity generate हो जाती है. इसकी एक example हमने inorganic में देखी थी, if you remember. Just for the sake of reference, I'm telling you. N में triple bond है, CO में triple bond है. But carbon monoxide, you remember, it's a polar. Therefore, carbon monoxide is a reactive inorganic compound. On the other hand, nitrogen में भी triple bond है और वो inert है. So carbon monoxide की reactivity is because of its bond polarity. Its polarity, okay? Next आ जाएं. अब still, although they are not reactive organic compounds, but still they undergo some reactions, right? For example, number one, ये O level में भी किया था, that is known as combustion. Number one is combustion. When alkane burned, two types of combustion. When alkane burned in excess of oxygen, बच्चों क्या बनाते हैं? Carbon dioxide and water, because this is a complete combustion. Balancing के लिए we always use carbon number one, hydrogen number two, and oxygen number three. This is the sequence. Okay. So carbon already balanced है. Hydrogen 4 है. So multiply this by 2. Oxygen now on the product side, 2 plus 2, 4 hai. So you multiply this by 2. This is called a complete combustion. Okay, always carbon dioxide and water is formed, and this is known as complete combustion. Combustion of alkanes. और इसके लिए एक general equation भी होती है for all hydrocarbons, not for alkanes only. Yeah, dipole induced dipole होते हैं उमर, but the reactivity depends on the permanent poles, ना? So जब तक वो permanent poles ना हो, they cannot react, because dipole induced dipole, you know, they are temporary dipoles. They are just induced when they get close to each other. Okay. Look, this is another general equation for the combustion. This is the general equation for the combustion. Look, CXHY plus X plus Y by 4O2 gives us XCO2 plus Y by 2H2O. You can also use this equation for the balancing, but keep in mind this is not for alkanes. This is for all hydrocarbons, alkanes, alkenes, cycloalkanes, everyone. Okay, CXHY. Yeah, alkanes are non-polar or not having permanent dipoles. Umar, because they are not having any permanent dipoles. जो मैंने ये example भी दिया, जैसे CO में, can you see the permanent dipoles, right? इस तरह की dipoles उनमें नहीं है, और ये ना होने की वजह से ही they are inert. That's why I said. Okay, so this is how the combustion of hydrocarbons or alkanes takes place. This is general equation. You can use this equation for the balancing as well to combustion of this. But on the other hand, you know one thing, when you burn the methane, the same methane, but in a limited supply of oxygen, फिर products change हो जाते हैं. फिर क्या होता है? Yes, then there is no carbon dioxide. Then there is a carbon monoxide along with water. Okay, so this is 2 and then 2 plus 1, 3 by 2, I believe. Yes. So this is limited supply carbon monoxide. But at times, not for alkanes, but at times ऐसा होता है when you have long carbon chain ना, तो फिर ये भी होता है, please pay attention, कि there is a soot नहीं जिसको कार्बन कहते हैं, solid carbon, वो भी बन जाता है. Right? So you can also write this limited supply wali equation, or you may find the examiner may have asked you to write this one, जिसमें C carbon, जिसको soot बोलते हैं. मैंने as I said कि वो मीथेन में नहीं बनता usually, because वो जितनी long carbon chain होती है ना तब वो बनता है incomplete combustion में, along with water. Right? So इसके हिसाब से ही balance कर लेंगे. Right? So इसको 2 से multiply करें, 2 1 3, ये 3 by 2 हो जाएगा. नहीं sorry, इसको भी 2 से multiply कर लेंगे, 8, और ये बन जाएगा 4 plus 1 5, so 5 by 2O2. Okay, so this is again these two equations are for the incomplete combustion. Okay, any one you can write. जब आपको लिखने को कहे तो you have to write the first one, carbon monoxide वाली. Okay, मैंने कहा ना वो at times जब long carbon chain होती है, but you are not supposed to learn when you have to write. When he asks you to write, then write this equation. But at times वो ये वाली equation दे देता है. That's why I let you know ताकि आपको पता हो कि ये वाली भी incomplete combustion से बनती है. Okay. Okay. Similarly, now if I'm going to give you complete combustion and incomplete combustion. दोनों clear हो गई? Now I'm going to give you the ethane. Ethane की complete combustion और incomplete combustion की equation you have to write quickly, बच्चों. Then we'll move on. Ethane C2H6 plus O2 अगर excess है तो क्या बनेगा, और C2H6 plus O2 अगर limited supply है तो क्या बनेगा? Give it a shot, जी. Excess में what is formed? And water. Balancing के लिए what we have to do? 2 CO2 and 3 H2O. Yes. हाइड्रोजन इधर 6 है ना बच्चे? 2 to 4 plus 3 7 है ऑक्सीजन, तो 7 by 2 O2. This is for the complete combustion. Excuse me, I need your undivided attention, please. Okay, next. What about this? Carbon monoxide and water, G. When they ask you to write, you just follow the simple pattern. 2CO, okay, plus 3H2O, 5 by 2O2. Okay, ऊपर वाली equation को balance करने के लिए you can also use CXHY वाली equation. Okay, the general equation for the combustion, that is known as general equation for the combustion. Right? उससे भी एक equation चले balance करा लेता हूँ आपसे. ये देखो बच्चे, C4H10 plus O2 gives us CO2 plus H2O. Now I would like you to follow this. ये वाली equation use करें. CXHY plus X plus Y by 4 O2 gives us what? XCO2 plus Y by 2 H2O. Now would you please now put the values of X and Y? What are the values of X and Y? 4 plus 10. So please do it, G. C4H10 plus 4 plus 10 by 4 O2 gives us 4 CO2. X की value 4 है ना, and then Y की value कितनी है? 10 by 2 H2O. Now solve it, please. C4H10 plus 7 by 2. 7 by 2. Nah, 13 by 2. Not 13. 4 CO2, 5 H2O.
Says 14 divided by 10 by
10 by 4 है ना? LCM लेके you can't solve it. Can you? Okay, this is how the complete combustion takes place to form carbon dioxide and water using a general equation for the combustion and solving it. Now, that's the all combustion alkanes ka reaction. We are going through it quickly because we know you have done all this in O level. Okay, number 2, the substitution reaction. The second reaction which alkanes follow is bacho substitution reaction. Again, fortunately, this is the same one which we did in O level. But before I go for the explanation, I would like to know what is a substitution reaction? क्योंकि उसकी भी definition आ जाती है. What is a substitution reaction? For example, here is the substitution reaction when hydrogen of an alkane. I saw that. वो tap करके जो आपने किया. So this is C2H6. When hydrogen of an alkane is replaced by one of the hydrogen. Okay. So one of the hydrogen, when it is replaced by, look at this. What happens? Parents, this C, any other, X is any other element. Okay, atom. X aa gaya yahan pe. Okay. So this is what? This is substitution. When hydrogen of an alkane when hydrogen of alkane is replaced by any other atom. This is called substitution. And we also learned this. This is the definition of substitution, but they ask you, okay? That's why I made you write this. एक और भी इसमें है that alkanes undergo substitution when they react with Cl2 and Br2 in the presence of sunlight. Substitution to samajh aa gaya, hydrogen will go out and someone will come in. That someone atom is what? Br or Cl. Okay, atoms of Br and Cl which they come in by reacting it with Br2 or Cl2. So please write down, yes. Alkanes undergo substitution when they react with two atoms, two molecules, chlorine gas or Br2 gas, but not in the darkness, in the presence of sunlight or ultraviolet light. Excuse me. Can you please come here? Please. Okay, now when alkanes react with chlorine or bromine in the presence of sunlight or ultraviolet light, they undergo the substitution. Substitution means that one of the hydrogen will be replaced by the atoms of chlorine and bromine. This reaction, as it is taking place in the presence of sunlight, we also call it photochemical reaction. Now let's see what happens. If we have CH4, for example, and react with Cl2 in the presence of, yes, sunlight. That's a straightforward O-level wali type. One of the H and one of the Cl, they will combine to form what? HCl, not hydrogen. It's a hydrogen chloride. Hydrochloric acid only it becomes when it is dissolved in water. Until that time, it's a gas known as hydrogen chloride. Okay, so one of the hydrogen goes and Cl comes in plus HCl. Hydrogen chloride, which is a gas. So methane turns into what? Chloromethane or monochloromethane, we call it. One chlorine, है ना? Right? So you can also write it CH4 plus Cl2 in the molecular form. तो क्या बन गया ये? CH3Cl, sorry, plus HCl. Okay.
Like if this ethane, you have to mention the position of the chlorine.
No, at this moment, there is only one carbon, so you call it a monochloromethane. Yeah, for ethane, I'll come to that. Before I go for that, बच्चों एक और ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री में नई फिनोमेना है कि इन इनऑर्गेनिक और इन फिजिकल केमिस्ट्री वी यूज टू जस्ट राइट द इक्वेशंस कि ये रिएक्टेंट्स हैं, ये प्रोडक्ट्स हैं. द फाइनल पॉइंट प्रोडक्ट होता है और इनिशियल पॉइंट रिएक्टेंट्स होते हैं, जैसे इस केस में. But in organic chemistry, you have a one more extra responsibility, not for all the reactions which we do in the organic chemistry, but some of them, a few of them, you have to explain how this all happened. For example, in this particular case, the reaction is saying कि CH bond था, वो break हो गया और उसकी जगह कौन सा नया bond बन गया? CCl bond. Reaction ने तो बस हमें ये बता दिया कि H is gone and Cl has come. But mechanism is the detail. इसे कहते हैं it is the combination of all elementary steps. What is the all elementary steps? Means all the detail that is happening. यानी मैं कहता हूं कि reaction is one which tells us कि what happened, and the mechanism is the one that tells us how it happened. यानी reaction सिर्फ ये बता रहा है कि H चला जाएगा और कौन आ जाएगा? Cl आ जाएगा. When you write the mechanism, it tells us how it all happened. How H gone and how Cl comes in. Mechanism हमें ये भी बताएगा what is the role of sunlight in all this. Why the reaction stops when we take it in the darkness. Like all these details which I just mentioned, they are in the mechanism. So हर दफा organic में ये होगा कि जैसे alkane के reactions में से किसी एक का वो हम कर लेंगे, ठीक है? इसी तरह alkene के reactions में से भी किसी एक का हम कर लेंगे. So similarly we'll pick and choose one of the reactions for this. But now starting with this, let's start with the mechanism of this substitution reaction. Please give heading mechanism. So as far as the mechanism is concerned, first of all, right, there are three main steps. यानी ये जो नजर आ रहा है कि ये रिएक्शन में H गया और Cl आ गया, इसके three, वालेकुम अस्सलाम, there are three main steps. Three main steps. In the first step, which is linked with sunlight, yes, it is known as initiation, bacho. Now, just imagine, as soon as I have this container, please parents, this is a container containing molecule of methane, several molecule of methane. And I also put some chlorine gas into this. I also put some chlorine gas into this. And I took this container outside of this room where we are sitting right now, under the sunlight. So as soon as sunlight comes on this beaker, it's not going to do anything with the methane. It falls on chlorine molecule and breaks its bonds. But as I said before, from now on in organic chemistry, we're not going to use the word break bonds. We will say either heterolytic or homolytic fission. Now, if you look at the chlorine, Cl2, if this bond breaks, what do you expect? What type of bond breakage? Yes, it is a homolytic fission. Why it is a homolytic fission? Yes, there is no electronegativity difference. So when chlorine molecule strikes, the sunlight strikes the chlorine molecule, the homolytic fission takes place and chlorine के दोनों atoms अलग हो जाएंगे, right? और as we learned in the previous lesson, कि जब ये bond break होता है, तो दोनों chlorine के पास odd number of electrons आ जाते हैं in their outer shells, so they will become free radicals. This is the point where the reaction initiates. This is called initiation. So it means if I don't take this container out of this room, yes, so there will be no starting of the reaction, right? The sunlight actually starts the reaction. That's why the first reaction is called initiation. So if I write detailed initiation, this is how it happens. At times examiners don't expect you to show, but I'm showing you just to let you know कि ये होगा कि दोनों chlorine का what is the meaning of added arrow? The covalent bond breaks. The shared pair of electron is equally divided. So both of them turn into chlorine free radical. This is called homo. But as I tell you, in mechanism, you are not supposed to tell anything in words. These are the words which I just spoke about कि क्लोरीन का बॉन्ड होमोलिटिक फिशन से ब्रेक होगा, दो क्लोरीन के बीच जो इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर शेयर हो रहे हैं, ईच क्लोरीन टेक्स दैट इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर अवे. ये हमने वर्ड्स में नहीं लिखना, ये हाफ हेडेड कर्ली एरो they represent it, right? So at times, or you can write it like this: Cl2 gives us 2Cl free radical, right? But I would like you कि आप पहले वाला step use करें, right? Because at times A levels chemistry में examiners allow you कि आप इतनी detail में ना जाएं, but I would like you to go because then you understand what happened. So initiation is actually nothing to do with the actual mechanism. Why I'm saying this? Because initiation का just reaction को start करना होता है. So if you don't take it to the sunlight, the chlorine molecule will remain as it is. They are not going to break and turn into chlorine free radicals. So the reaction is not going to start. Okay, initiation. Now I took it to the sunlight. The reaction has been initiated. Why it has been initiated? Okay, now one of the chlorine free radicals. Now please pay attention. One of the chlorine free radicals. Now, yes, here the chlorines are free radical. They have been generated because of this sunlight. Now they go and attack this CH4. Attack means they are, you can think of like this, that they are in desperate need of hydrogens. They attack hydrogens. So one of the chlorine free radical, that is the second step of the mechanism known as propagation. Propagation has two further steps. In the first step, the CH4 is attacked by one of the chlorine free radical. And as I said, they need what? They need hydrogen. Now, just to explain it to you, that much explanation may not be required, but here is the situation, and chlorine free radical comes in. So they need what? Hydrogen. And in order to provide this hydrogen to this Cl, this bond has to be, yes. And what type of bond breakage is this? Carbon and hydrogen are two different atoms, but we have decided that their electronegativity difference is not much, ignorable. So kind of same atoms hai. Electronegativity difference nahi hai. So what type of bond breakage is going to happen? Yes. So here it is homolytic fission takes place, bacho. And as a result of this, please pay attention. As a result of this CH3 also becomes a free radical. Why free radical? Because can you count the number of electrons in the valence shell of this methyl? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that one atom from the hydrogen came. वो कितने हो गए? 7. और इसी तरह जो H अलग होगा वो भी एक free radical होगा. But that H and Cl they are going to combine to make what? HCl. तो बच क्या जाएगा? CH3. But this detail we are not going to provide in the mechanism. That is just for your eyes only, not for the examiner's eyes, right? You just write in the first step of the propagation, the Cl free radical goes to methane and takes what? Hydrogen. और किस में change हो जाता है? HCl में. And after giving off hydrogen, what is left? And that would be a free radical. How it all happened? ये mechanism detail मैंने यहाँ दी है. But as I said, this is for your own understanding. We are not going to make it so complex कि हम वहाँ लिखें उसको, right? You just tell the examiner कि okay, I know the chemistry happening behind it. The Cl free radical is going to go and take the hydrogen out of methane and become HCl. That methane which is left behind is no more of a normal molecule. It is a free radical. क्यों free radical है? That explanation I have given you here because it has how many electrons in the valence shell now? 7. 2, 2, 2, 4, 6 तो 3 हाइड्रोजन वाले हो गए और सातवां उसका कार्बन का अपना इलेक्ट्रॉन हो गया. Now in the next step of the propagation, it is still the part of the propagation. The CH3 free radical. Yes, so it's not going to attack the chlorine free radical. One of the Cl2 molecule which has not been turned into Cl2 yet. Okay, I'm going to write it Cl2. Right? So this carbon free radical is a desperate need of chlorine. What is this? Chlorine. So look at this. What I'm saying, ये जो CH3 free radical है, it goes to Cl and needs what? Chlorine. And again, how this bond is going to break? Homo or hetero? The chlorine-chlorine. Homolytic fission is going to take place. As a result, this chlorine free radical and this chlorine free radical and this CH3 is going to combine with this to make what? And what is left? Cl free radical. So here I'm going to write it CH3Cl plus Cl free radical. So these are the two steps of propagation. So propagation is a one step which further has two steps and which is the actually mechanism of the reaction. Because if you look at this, there are 4 hydrogens and there are now in the end product 3 hydrogen and 1 chlorine. So basically, if अगर मैं इसको simplified form में कहूँ तो मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि मीथेन में जो हाइड्रोजन जाता है और Cl आता है, पहले स्टेप में हाइड्रोजन goes away और दूसरे स्टेप में Cl comes in. So that's a simplified, oversimplified explanation for the propagation. That जो हमें ऊपर लग रहा है कि बस जी मीथेन के 4 हाइड्रोजन है, क्लोरीन चला जाता है, Cl आ जाता है, that is not happening in one step. That is happening in 2 steps. In the first step, who goes away? Hydrogen. And in the second step, who comes in? Chlorine. And attaches itself to same place where the hydrogen was born. But in the meanwhile, जब वो चला जाता है और पीछे बन जाता है तो उसके दौरान वो क्या होता है? वो एक free radical. Now, in the meanwhile, what I did, now my product is here CH3Cl. What I did in the meanwhile, I brought the beaker inside. I brought the beaker where the reaction was happening inside the room. Yes. So when I brought the beaker inside the room, there is no sunlight. So the reaction is going to stop. And when the reaction stops, actually what happens? These free radicals actually initiate these free radicals. So when you brought in, there is no sunlight, there is no more further initiation happening, no more further free radicals are being generated. So वो जो existing free radicals हैं, वो आपस में react करने लग जाते हैं and start terminating themselves, right? Because now the reaction cannot propagate anymore. So that third step is known as termination. That third step is known as termination, in which when raw material ends, for the sake of argument, I'm saying, let's say the raw materials end, there is no more methane or there is no chlorine, or let's say light has been gone because I turned it inside the room. So then what happens? आप कहते हैं कोई से भी 2 free radical जो इस beaker में पड़े हुए हैं, they are going to combine to make a normal molecule. क्योंकि free radical आपस में मिलने लग जाते हैं. जैसे ये भी तो एक free radical है, हम कहते हैं yes, ये इससे combine करके इससे बन सकता है. So termination को आपने independently समझना है कि termination is what? It's just combination of free radicals, right? दोनों free radicals आपस में combine करके covalent bond बना देते हैं. That step is known as termination. So initiation और termination को आपने अलग से सोचना है बच्चों कि initiation is when the reaction initiates, termination when the free radicals turn themselves in to react with each other. Actual mechanism is what? Propagation, in which the hydrogen goes in the first step and Cl comes in the second step. I hope you got it. And this reaction, in general, this mechanism is known as, आप देखें substitution हुई है by the attack of what? Free radical. So you call it, yes, this reaction mechanism is known as free radical substitution. FRS, that is the name of mechanism, right? So I hope you understood, बच्चों. I'll explain it again. It's straightforward. एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन इनको अलग अलग आते हैं, बट जनरल आपको समझना होगा और इसी तरह समझना होगा. इनिशिएशन और टर्मिनेशन को आप अलग रखें. इनिशिएशन इज जस्ट फ्री रेडिकल, सनलाइट जनरेट्स द फ्री रेडिकल बाय होमोलिटिक फिशन. वो फ्री रेडिकल फिर जाके प्रोपगेशन करते हैं और जब सारी प्रोपगेशन हो जाती है, लाइट हैज बीन स्विच्ड ऑफ or the free or the raw materials are no more there, then whatever the free radicals that are left in that beaker, they are start combining with each other, and that is known as termination, right? So initiation, termination are the 2 different steps. Now the actual step is the propagation, and propagation is also straightforward, that if there are 4 hydrogen in the first step, 1 hydrogen goes away और दूसरे step में उसकी जगह कौन आ जाता है? Cl. Who pulls the hydrogen out of methane? Chlorine free radical. Who pulls the chlorine and attaches? Carbon free radical, right? Now I'm going to give you, you follow the same mechanism and write the mechanism for this reaction, please, right? Quickly you have to write. For example, look, bacho, अगर मीथेन है and I react it with Br2, what is the product?
Bromomethane.
Yes, monobromomethane plus HBr. I would like you to write the mechanism, please, quickly. Mechanism, bacho. We know one of the hydrogen has been replaced, substituted with one of the atom of bromine. Okay, here it is CH4. Here it is Br and then H. So actually, this carbon hydrogen bond and this is carbon bromine bond. यही हुआ ना पूरे रिएक्शन में, हाइड्रोजन चला गया और कौन आ गया? Br. But mechanism involves the complete detail. First is what? Initiation, in which sunlight is going to break the bonds between Br, and this bond is going to break by what type of fission? Homolytic fission to generate two free radicals. Now, these free radicals are the ones who will lead this. दूसरा स्टेप क्या है? Propagation.
सर आपने यूवी लाइट शो नहीं की.
अब वो yes sunlight sorry.
नहीं सर वो सिंबल में कैसे शो करेंगे?
अब वो जरूरत नहीं है, अगर आप चाहें तो इस तरह शो कर दें, but not needed.
लिख सकते हैं यूवी लाइट.
Yeah. But you don't need to, okay? Propagation. What happens in the propagation?
CH4 plus Br radical.
Yes.
Gives the CH3 radical plus HBr.
So you see the bromine free radical has come and taken the hydrogen away. Now this carbon free radical, CH3 free radical, is going to react with Br2 and taking what? Br?
Yes, sir.
Plus Br free radical. Now at this moment, suppose sunlight is gone or suppose raw materials are gone. What about this then?
Br plus Br, Br radical plus Br radical.
Yes, so any two free radicals, they are going to react with each other to make a normal molecule known as termination.
CH3 radical plus Br radical.
Yes. So इसलिए बच्चों एक एग्जामिनर क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, क्या मीथेन की क्लोरीनेशन में इथेन बन सकता है? हम कहते हैं yes, बन सकता नहीं बल्कि in a very rare amount बनता है. Because when all the termination is happening, तो क्या हो रहा होता है? The free radicals of carbon when they terminate, तो carbon length double हो जाती है. मीथेन से क्या बन जाता है? इथेन. और अगर ये इथेन की क्लोरीनेशन हो रही होती, no excuse me, इथेन का डबल.
Butane.
Butane. So when they ask you अच्छा प्रोपेन की क्लोरीनेशन कर रहे हैं, तो एक और बड़ा एल्केन भी बन जाता है. What would be that alkane?
Hexane.
Hexane. Because always when they are terminating, so double number of carbon terminate होगा. जैसे मीथेन से इथेन, इथेन से ब्यूटेन, ब्यूटेन से octane, right? No, not yet. Okay, so one more thing. You learned about this reaction in O level, one thing. Now this is important, boys and girls. एक चीज आपने सीखी इसके बारे में कि ये जो रिएक्शन होता है, it's a chain reaction. It's a chain reaction. For example, if I go back and see here, यहाँ तो मैंने लाइट बंद कर ली थी ना, इसलिए टर्मिनेशन शुरू हो गई. If the light is still switched on, all the raw materials are available, then this chlorine free radical is not going to terminate. तो अगर ये terminate नहीं होगा, तो what it actually attacks? हाइड्रोजन ना. तो क्या जो प्रोडक्ट बना है इसके पास अभी भी हाइड्रोजन है? How many hydrogens?
3.
So it's going to attack this hydrogen again.
Oh, it's gonna.
Right, so it's going to propagate.
Keep propagating.
Yes, keep propagating until,
Reaction.
yes, there is no more hydrogen left with this. So it means this Cl free radical is going to attack this hydrogen. Look, So propagation के दो और steps हो जाएंगे. CH3Cl. Now this is tricky. Please pay attention. I need your undivided attention. Now this is gonna take what? Hydrogen away. तो क्या बन जाएगा? HCl. HCl. Excuse me. What's happening? So HCl plus, no, just one hydrogen less than this. CH2Cl, but that is a free radical. Free radical, because whenever chlorine takes the hydrogen away, the homolytic fission hogi na. Just think about the chemistry which we had drawn in other side. और फिर ये जो CH2 free radical है, yes, फिर Cl2 को attack करेगा, then एक chlorine add हो जाएगा, तो CH2Cl2 plus Cl free radical. Is this chlorine free radical is going for the termination? Not yet. Why not yet?
There's two more hydrogen left.
Yes, still they has the available hydrogen. और ये फिर दो propagation क्या? यानी every time to get the hydrogen off and yes, take the Cl in, you have to take two more steps. So CH2Cl2 plus Cl free radical. What is this?
CH radical.
CH just एक हाइड्रोजन कम कर दें. जो यहाँ लिखा हुआ है ना, what I'm gonna tell you, उसमें से एक हाइड्रोजन कम कर दें. Right? Just reduce one hydrogen. Okay?
Plus HCl.
तो क्या बन जाएगा? Plus HCl. ऐसे
Radical with Cl.
Yes, CHCl2 plus Cl2 क्या बन जाएगा?
CHCl3 plus Cl radical.
Plus Cl. क्या reaction is gonna stop here?
Two more reactions. Sir, इसमें Roman number 3 और 4 आएंगे या फिर 1 और 2?
What do you mean?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, in the next step again, still one hydrogen left. So CHCl3 plus Cl free radical gives us what? CCl3
Radical
plus HCl, and then CCl3 free radical plus Cl2 gives us what?
CCl4 plus Cl radical.
Plus Cl radical. Again, two steps of propagation. What is the final step then?
Definition.
Yes, there is no more hydrogen left. Now the raw material has ended. We have not turned the switch light off. Raw material has ended. So what to do then?
Termination.
Yes. So now the free radical is gonna go for this termination thing now. Okay. So every time propagation is of two steps, initiation is of one step, and then termination is of one step. Right? We'll continue this. कल इसके ऊपर exam questions करेंगे. That's all from my side. Thank you.